here's a few tips from me on how to stop quitting on your diet or your training routine after a bad day or a bad week or a blip, etc. Okay, first of all, tip number one is never enter into anything that is temporary or that you aim to be temporary. Losing weight, getting fitter, getting healthier, etc., it should be a decision you make to change your life for good. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm going to do this thing for 6 weeks and see if I can drop weight for a holiday, or I'm going to sign up to this new class that's like a slim down in 21 days, etc. It's fine if you just need a bit of a kickstart and that's what you're using it for. But if you're thinking that that's going to cure years of bad dieting and years of poor exercise, etc., and years of bad habits and quitting and things like that, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So the first thing is make a decision to make it a permanent change, and make a promise to yourself that no matter how many times you have bad days or you fall off track, that's not the end. That's just a bump in the road. It's just a blip. So first of all, it's entering into something expecting it to be permanent. You want to be healthy for the rest of your life. You want to be a healthy weight and feel great and self-confident for the rest of your life. It shouldn't ever be approached as a temporary thing. But a lot of us approach these things, or we talk ourselves into things because it's only 2 weeks, or it's only 4 weeks, or only 6 weeks, etc. And then when we can't even stick to 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks, it's just more evidence of why we're a failure. So don't give yourself that time scale. Set yourself the challenge of changing your health and your lifestyle for good, no matter how many attempts at it you have got to make. That's step one. Step two, I'd say, is decide who you want to be. So just because you've been a quitter in the past, and because you've given up on pretty much every diet or given up on every exercise plan or anything in life, if you've been a bit of a quitter, you now tell yourself, oh, well, I always start these things but I never stick to them. Now, that's not a great mindset to start something new. So just because you've had certain behaviour in the past or been a certain person in the past, you can draw a line under that. That it doesn't mean that that's who you're going to be for the rest of your days. You can make that conscious decision to try. So an exercise me and Adam do with a lot of our new clients is setting your values for the future. So if you want one of your values and behaviours for the future to be don't be a quitter, you can make that decision today to not be a quitter. It doesn't mean you're not gonna have slip-ups and you're not gonna fall off track and you're not gonna have a couple of days wobble. But that's what it is. It's a few days at a time and then you get back on track. What a lot of people do is they start a new diet plan and they do a week or two. Then they might have 6 months, a year, 2 years off. So decide the characteristics, the you of the future you want them to have, and strive every day to start becoming that person. You're not going to be able to flick a switch and become that person overnight. But you need to make the conscious decision that I don't want to be this person anymore, this person that quits and that says they're going to do something and doesn't follow through. So I'm going to be the person that tries. And I keep trying no matter how many times I fail. And I'm going to keep going. If you don't keep going, you're guaranteed failure. If you keep going, you're almost pretty much guaranteed success. Doesn't matter if you have blips or wobbles in the road. Every single blip and every single wobble that you have should be a learning curve. It should be an opportunity to pause and reflect and think, what made me fall off my diet this time? It was a birthday. It was somebody's birthday barbecue and I had a bender all weekend and I thought I'd ruined all my progress, so I threw the towel in. That's what happened this time. Treat it as a learning curve and think, you know what, next time there's a social event, I'm going to moderate what I have a little bit more, or I'm going to allow myself the weekend to enjoy it, but Monday I'm back on it, instead of letting one day or one weekend just completely railroad you for months. So know your values, know the person that you want to be. Make it a permanent decision to change your life, no matter how many run-ups at it that you've got to have. The next one is knowing your why. So why do you want to get fit and healthy? If you're bullying yourself into it because you're bit overweight and you feel insecure, etc., we normally rebel from bullies. So if you're like, oh, you're fat and you're disgusting and you've got to do something and you're a quitter and you never stick to anything, you wouldn't let somebody speak to you like that, and you are bullying yourself. And eventually the other side of the brain starts thinking, oh, give yourself a break. You've worked really hard and you're tired and your job's really stressful and the kids are driving you mad, etc. And you almost start justifying yourself or rebelling against that bully. So think about your why, and instead of thinking of all the reasons why you should lose weight or get fit because of the bad consequences, which are important to be aware of, so ill health, early death, etc., really morbid but very, very true, try and think of some inspiring reasons why to do it. Who's watching you? Have you got kids? Try and inspire your children. Try and show them how to lead by example. Think of the clothes that you're going to wear, and how you're going to feel on the beach on holiday, or how you're going to feel in your romantic relationship if you've got that body confidence, how you're going to feel getting up in front of people at work to do presentations and things like that. Start to picture and visualize yourself at the end goal, and use that to inspire yourself. For a lot of my clients, I'll say set up a Pinterest board. So Pinterest is a really good app, and you can search pictures and quotes and things like that, and I have a vision board for nearly every goal that I have. So I might have a goal of what I want my house to look like, or a goal of what I want my body to look like, etc. And I'll set up a little vision board in that, and anything that inspires me, I add it to that board. So if it's body image, I might save a couple of pictures of women a similar age to me that have had multiple children and that have got their body back after childbirth, or I might save images of people lifting really heavy weights, because that's what I enjoy, and I find that inspirational. I add quotes to it, things that on a down day when I really can't be bothered are going to kick me up the backside a little bit to be motivated. So create a vision board, inspire yourself into it. Like I said, save pictures of the clothes that you want to wear. I know a lot of women who are overweight, they don't like having their arms out, so they'll always wear dresses and things that cover their arms, or they don't like having their legs and bum out, so they'll never wear a set of shorts, etc. Start saving pictures of things that you'd love to wear with confidence, and start feeling inspired towards achieving this better lifestyle for yourself instead of bullying yourself into it. And acknowledge that it's going to take time and it's going to take some ups and downs to get there. In terms of limiting the amount of kind of temptation in terms of falling off track and stuff like that, set up your environment for success. So I know a lot of parents who say, well, I raid the snack cupboard and I eat the junk that the kids are eating, etc. Remove anything from your temptation that you don't want to have. So don't buy it in and then try and avoid the cupboards. Don't buy it in at all. Like, if you don't want it, don't buy it in. And I know kids like the odd treat and stuff, but we're feeding our kids junk, too much junk. They don't need to be eating as much junk as we're feeding them. So for grandparents and parents to be like, oh, it's the kids' junk, well, the kids don't need that stuff, and the kids are learning from you that it's okay to just help yourself to that stuff whenever you feel sad or stressed or secretly if no one else is in the house. So remove temptation from your immediate environment. If you know you like a snack at a certain time of day, have a pre-planned snack already prepared, so you're not going to the vending machine or you're not going to the kids' snack cupboard, etc. So control what's within your environment and you're less likely to fall off track. Be aware of saboteurs. So most of us have at least one or two people in our immediate circle that love to try and drag us off track. So colleagues are one of the worst for this. You'll be in the office and you'll say, no, I don't want a cupcake today, thanks, because I'm really trying on my new diet. I'm really trying to stay healthy. And people say, oh, go on, just have one. Or we're doing a Mackey's run, do you want one? And you'll say, no, I'm all right, thanks, I don't want anything. And they bring you back your favourite and they think they're being a really great colleague and a really great friend. That's not being a great colleague and a great friend. Somebody's got a goal, and if you're that colleague that takes the junk into other people, listen to them. If they're saying, no, I don't want this because I'm really, really trying, try not to sabotage them, but also try and be aware of who's sabotaging you. So parents do it a lot with their kids. If you see your kids upset or sad, you want to treat them. I know Adams do it by accident. So, his dad knows I love a bottle of Prosecco, and he knows Adam loves a few beers and things like that. And you feel like it's the most loving thing to do sometimes, to take somebody around their favourite thing. But sometimes it's putting more temptation in people's way and actually dragging them off track. Partners can be a bit of a nightmare for it as well. So if Adam fancies a beer, he might say, go on babe, have a glass of wine. Not now when I'm pregnant, but he might say, go on, have a glass of wine. And I'll say, no, I'm on it. I'm being really, really strict. And he'll be like, oh, well, I don't really want to have a beer on my own. And then you kind of feel guilted into participating because somebody else is. So be aware of the people around you that are dragging you off track, and start to have the confidence to say no. We use an example of if you're trying to quit smoking and somebody keeps asking you if you want to go out for a cigarette, and you say, no, I'm really trying to quit, and they might try and tempt you to come outside for a bit of fresh air or whatever. If you said to them, I don't smoke, they'd probably only ask you once or twice, and then they'd stop asking. When it comes to your diet, we tend to have this response with colleagues and partners and things like that, where we say, oh, I really shouldn't, because I'm really trying on this diet to not have that. And you're showing them that there is potential weakness there. Whereas if you decide, I don't drink in the house anymore, or I don't eat chocolate in the house anymore, etc. I say in the house because that's where most of us get a lot of our shit calories in. Try and change that internal and external dialogue to be like, I don't drink in the house. It's an absolute no. People only keep offering if you always show signs of weakness, and if you show inconsistency, and if sometimes you give in and sometimes you don't. If you're consistent and you say no continuously, people will stop asking. The kids used to ask me all the time, do you want a bit of this chocolate? Do you want a crisp? Really, really great that they're sharing, and we push them to do that. But I've said no that many times because I've been making weight for competitions and things. They don't even bother offering anymore. So it's thinking about the language you use to other people. Are you showing them that you're consistent and that you mean business? Or are you showing them that you're being a bit weak and that you could be tempted? So you got to stay strong. Have planned indulgences. So being on a diet plan and on an exercise plan and stuff, it doesn't mean never socialising again and never having a glass of wine or never having a bar of chocolate. You just can't keep having them every day. That's the stuff that's making us really, really unhealthy and damaging our health and our lifespan. So we always have a family night on a Saturday night where we have a bit of junk. We might watch a movie together as a family, or we might go out for a meal, etc. But it normally involves desserts, and it normally involves, sweets and stuff like that if they're in front of the TV, or ice cream, etc. But we don't live like that. We don't do that all week. And then what happens is, on that day, everybody really looks forward to family night, and you don't feel guilty for the food and the drink that you're having. So have planned indulgences. If you know you've got a social event on a weekend, don't be eating cupcakes and crap all week at work if you know you're going out for a meal and you're going to be having a couple of glasses of wine on a weekend. It's about moderation, and a lot of us have lost that moderation because we don't have planned treats. We just have treats in and amongst our diet all day, every day. So make sure you have those planned indulgences. Also, we work really well on reward systems. So put a reward system in for yourself. If you stick to 5 days of your training plan or your diet, allow yourself a little treat on a weekend. A little treat doesn't have to be the full weekend. It doesn't even have to be food or drink related. It could be a new lipstick or a new nail varnish or a new pair of training socks. It could be absolutely anything, but give yourself some little rewards for doing well. We work really well on reward systems, and when we start feeling rewarded for our good behaviour, it's almost like when you teach a dog how to sit, etc. They absolutely love that little treat, and we become like that. And we really respond well to that. So make sure you have some planned rewards in. Make sure you track any blips that you have. So instead of seeing it as failure, fully expect to have blips. Nobody ever entered into any diet plan, any study plan, any training plan, any career progression, any goal in life, and just went plain sailing right to the finish line. There's gonna be times when you fall off track. So track the blips and make sure you know what's dragging you off track, and use them as learning curves so that you can plan better in the future. And just keep reflecting and working on it. Don't quit just because you've had a bad day. Don't quit because you've had a bad week. Reflect, learn, keep going.